No matter how careful we may be with our money, one thing's for certain, scammers and hackers are looking for every way possible to take what's yours. Luckily, Mark Frieden, Vice President of Cybersecurity at Hughes Federal Credit Union, is here with some important advice. It's really great to have you here. And we all know, we've all heard it, fraud is occurring at higher rates than ever. So tell us a little bit about what you're seeing out there. What are the trends?
The trends we're seeing are more of same as the usual, but more enhanced. So email phishing, we're seeing more sophisticated email phishing than ever, more well thought out, trying to get you to click on something, trying to get you to go to a website and do something you shouldn't do, and download info stealers. And then the next thing we see is vishing, which is voice phishing. So someone calls you on the phone. What we're seeing on the horizon is more AI-generated type messages, but for now it's the pretend or someone saying that they're with the government, and then finally the smishing, which is text messages, and we see those coming in to members and credit union employees that tries to get you prey on your emotions, trying to get you to check your bank accounts, reply to their message in the phish or in the vishing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad you mentioned AI because it's getting so hard to figure out what's real and what's not real. And there have been stories, these horror stories of people getting a phone call about one of their loved ones being held, perhaps, and it's all fake. And so you have to be mindful about that. What are some ways that hackers might try to get into your system?
Once you're lured in with a voicemail or phishing, try to get you to go to a website, download some software to update your computer, and it's not really the site you expect it to be. You have a nice video card, for example, and you want to upgrade it, and the site you go to is really not your video card. And then they get an info stealer on your computer, and with an info stealer, it can grab all your passwords that you have saved in your web browser. So we recommend do not saving passwords in your web browser.
Yeah, so be careful with any executable files that you download, any programs that could be masquerading as something else. So what's the first step that somebody can take to protect themselves from hackers and, say, people accessing their online accounts?
One of the first lines of defense is your password. It should be a long, complicated password. And to keep track of all your passwords, I highly recommend using a password manager. It's a piece of software that keeps track of everything. It can generate passwords for you, fill in your passwords so you don't have to remember them. We want people to use unique passwords. If your one account gets compromised, if you use unique passwords, you don't have to worry about it across all your other accounts.
Yeah, big mistake people make using the same password for everything, and those password generators make these long strings of passwords that nobody could ever figure out, and it just puts it in there for you. So Wi-Fi connections that are public are also a concern because you connect your computer to the network, people can see that you're on there, hackers specifically, and then something bad could happen.
And here's where we see this happening is in hotels. You have a shared computer that the hotels provided you to help you at your convenience, to help your business. And you need to make sure if you do use that, you log off, secure your accounts. It's preferred not to use it, but if you have to. Also for the Wi-Fi, if there's no password, make sure that you use your cellular instead.
And there's always a little checkbox when you log in, remember this login, make sure not to check that on your public computer.
Yes.
And online banking has become so normal these days. It's on our phones as apps, it's on the web pages. What are some ways that we can protect those financial accounts aside from a long password and a good password?
We recommend checking your accounts regularly, making sure there's no unauthorized transactions, making sure that you do change your password should you notice anything unusual. Use multi-factor wherever possible. When you do get a one-time passcode, which happens a lot with online banking, make sure you never share it with anyone. That's for your use only.
And while I have you here, have to ask, because there's a lot more that we could discuss. Any other tips that you have for our viewers?
I recommend establishing a family password so that if you do communicate with family members under various conditions, that you know who you're talking to, that it is really a family member. Be cautious about sharing information on social media. Don't refriend somebody that you're already friends with. Regularly back up your important data. Use a virtual private network, a VPN. that can help protect you. It can also protect you on Wi-Fi.
Just be mindful, right? Make sure that everything that's coming your way, that you vetted it, that you make sure it's legitimate. Don't just trust somebody calling you about something that may not actually be who they say they are. Mark Frieden, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.